I know it's very early. It's 2026, almost into like 2 months, 2026. Uh, and that's not even time for the mid. That's 9 months short of the midterm, and yet people are already thinking about 2028, and they're thinking about who the next president gonna be. Well, California Governor Gavin Newsom appears to be gaining traction with a key voting bloc that Democrats have struggled to reach: young men. A new survey from the Republican pollster League of American Workers, TIPP, finds Newsom leading Vice President J.D. Vance 38 to 33% among men ages 18 to 25 in a hypothetical 2028 presidential matchup. Now, 15% said they'd back another candidate, while another 15% said that they were actually undecided. That's a notable reversal of the rightward shift among young male voters that we've seen in recent election cycles. In 2020, 45% of men ages 18 to 44 voted for Donald Trump. By 2024, that number had climbed to 53%. Now, the new poll, which surveyed 2,100 registered voters, included 1,300 young men, and it suggested that Newsom's outreach strategy just might be paying off. The California Democrat has made waves with his podcast interviews with conservative figures and a more aggressive, meme-driven online persona. He's basically fighting fire with fire because he's mocking Donald Trump and he's mocking GOP leaders, and he's doing it in their own tone. Now, despite criticism from fellow Democrats for engaging with the right, Newsom said earlier this year that the party needed to quote, get out of our own damn bubble. Now, according to the poll, Newsom's favorability among young men stands at 36%, with 32% disapproving and another 32% unsure. Now, those are better numbers in both major parties or their leaders. Now, Donald Trump, just to give you a comparator, Donald Trump's approval among the same group is 38%, and J.D. Vance's is about 34%. The survey underscores how both parties are trying to win back a demographic that is increasingly skeptical of politics altogether. And it shows how Gavin Newsom, at least for now, just might have an opening. I want to think about that with y'all just for a second. First, it's no surprise that Gavin Newsom is beating J.D. Vance. Gavin Newsom has a personality. Gavin Newsom is visible. Gavin Newsom is his own man. J.D. Vance feels like a poor man's Trump right now. I'm not saying that's all he has. J.D. Vance is very smart, well-educated, and experienced. However, he says weird shit. And he doesn't come off as the guy you want to have a beer with. Sorry, that's probably Freudian, because I was thinking about the fact that he has an actual beard, and very few presidential or vice presidential candidates do. So there's a lot of ways where he's out of step. So Gavin Newsom being popular, he's handsome, he's charming. Gavin Newsom looks like a president right out of Central Booking. He could have been the president on one of these TV shows, Scandal, whatever. He could have done it, right? He fits the bill in so many ways. So if you're a Democrat, you have reason to be excited that the person who is at the top of the list of options right now seems to have a decent chance at winning. However, if you actually care about making the world better, if you actually care about the issues, if you actually care about the politics of it all, this can be very distressing. Gavin Newsom being willing to sit down with conservatives and interview them and talk to them, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. And if it were merely about engaging in discourse or even making them look stupid, by debating them, I'd be down with it. But the problem is Gavin Newsom, like the rest of these Democrats, as we just saw with the healthcare shutdown, Gavin Newsom is a centrist too. Gavin Newsom is about to be the standard bearer, maybe, of a party that is moving increasingly to the right at a moment where the people want them to move increasingly to the left. So Gavin Newsom being at the top of the heap makes sense. And if among the options, he's a good one, right? If you're talking about the X's and O's of it all. But in terms of advancing in actual politics, I don't know where Gavin Newsom really stands on reparations. I don't know where Gavin Newsom really stands on universal health care. I don't know where Gavin Newsom really stands on immigration. I don't know what he says things, but one, he never truly seems straight and honest with us. but also the positions that he's articulated are mainstream Democratic talking points, which don't change the fundamental structure in a society that continues to produce this huge gap between those who have and those who don't. I don't want Gavin Newsom. I get it. I get it. You don't want JD Vance to be president. I get it. You don't want Donald Trump part 3 or term 3 by proxy, right? I get it. And if at the end of the day, that's the only thing you're thinking about, then you're not thinking enough. We are 3 years out from an election, and y'all are already making compromises. Y'all are already foreclosing on possibilities. You're already shrinking. We don't have to do that, y'all. Let's actually figure out what the hell we want and go get it. A year ago, you didn't think you could get a Mamdani in New York. You thought a Cuomo was all you could have. And look at you, sitting around with a Mamdani. Why? Because you worked, you organized, you fought, and you won. This can happen. So, yeah, and gun to my head, would I rather have Gavin Newsom than JD Vance? Of course. I don't even need a gun to my head for that. I don't need nothing. You can just ask me. But we are capable of so much more.